What is going on, friend? And welcome to another episode. Well, not really episode. Today we have a very unique topic. We're going to be talking about photo restoration. This very topic I was reminded just a couple weeks ago from a friend who hit me up with regards to, it was actually a question relating to photo restoration. It reminded me, actually I let him know this as well, it reminded me that I had this video I wanted to do last year, and I pushed it off. I figured I would do it after the new year. We see a lot of folks asking questions with regards to or relating to photo restoration, and it's a topic that, honestly, I don't have a lot of experience in. But we're gonna do this here together. We have a photo here. I'll share with you a little story behind this, and then we're going to take it out of the frame. We're gonna scan this sucker, and we're gonna send it off to a place up in Los Angeles called Photo Repair Pro. But first, before we get into all the fun part with this here, look, we put these videos together to help you make decisions, help you figure out how to do things. In this particular case, we're going to go through this together, and we're going to use a photo here that I have in front of me here. We're going to figure out, do these photo restoration services really work or not? Now, of course, if you find some value with this video, guys, if you can do me a big favor and hit that like button down below. After all, we're putting this video together for you. And certainly by hitting that like button, it does help with the whole YouTube algorithm. And friend, that is a pretty cool thing. With all that said, pull up a seat in. Let's go. All right, first is first. Let me give you a background of this image here, and the reflection is probably going to be absolutely brutal right now. But this photo right here, so over the last 11, 12 years, we always keep track of where we see questions coming through, and that helps guide our compass towards the type of content that we'll put out in front of you folks. And another one of those questions that we see comes up quite often is with regards to photo restoration. As I mentioned a moment ago, I have zero experience. So I'm not going to come across as some photo repair expert because, well, if I did, this photo would have been repaired a long time ago. So I kept pushing it off because I knew nothing of the topic. And I still don't. But what we're going to do here is I did a ton of research, and I found a company. Oddly enough, the company is the brand that used to do all the photo restoration work for Costco, and then Costco basically pulled their whole photo department out of there. The name of the company is Photo Repair Pro, and they're up in Los Angeles, which is about 45 minutes away from me. It depends on traffic, but anyways, it's right up the road. Now, again, as I mentioned, they've been doing the photo repair work for Costco for, 10 years, and up until Costco axed the whole photo department that they had. But Photo Repair Pro, they also do some really cool stuff for military and veterans and so forth, and that really hits at home for me. As you may know, most of my family, including myself, is ex-military. My stepfather was a medic in the Air Force, and so going back to a lot of the requests or a lot of the questions that we hear from you folks with regards to photo repair services, I kept pushing it off because I didn't have a company that I had personally used. So finally, it also happens to do with I didn't have any photos that needed work. So I reached out to my mother, and it turns out this particular photo that I'm going to share with you here, but let me help you understand who this person is here. So my stepfather, as I shared with you, he's a veteran. He was a medic in the Air Force. This guy has stories that will last days. He was a firefighter in Yonkers, New York, and what he would do is he would drive 3 hours from Yonkers up to Lake George, which is way the hell upstate, if you're not familiar with it. And he started building this log home up there, literally driving 3 hours one way to get up there. And it took him about 3 years to build this place. And that's what this photo is right here. This is of the log home that he had built in upstate New York. Now, this was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and nestled in this little pocket of just gorgeous trees up there. This is 30 years ago. And I'm sure you can appreciate, having a sentimental photo when you put so much of you into building something. That becomes part of you. And sometimes, like, they moved from New York down to Tennessee, and then in Tennessee, which is what happened to this photo right here, there was water damage with a roof or something or another. And the photo, let's see if we're going to be able to get this in here. The photo is actually sticking. We're seeing more of a reflection here. The photo is actually sticking to the glass here. And so, at any rate, when they came out to Arizona, it's just been sitting. It hasn't been hanging because it doesn't look all that great. And so I was asking around family members if anybody had a photo that needed restoration work. And when my mom hit me up with this one, and then of course I know how important this place was to my stepfather, and so I'm honored to be able to give it a go with this here. Again, I don't know whether these photo restoration works, but Costco used them for 10 years, and I've had the opportunity to speak to the owner of this place, and I'm pretty excited about the whole process here. So what we're going to do here is we're going to crack this thing out of here. Actually, first I'm going to take a snapshot of this here. Try to get up close. So it's weird because this is a snowy scene here, and the initial, which I'll put on the screen here, the part that I'm photographing here, when my mother first showed this to me, I thought it was snow, but it's pieces of the paper stuck to the glass. And down in the bottom you can see it looks like ice, but that is where the water is sticking in more areas. So, anyway, what we're going to do, the process with this here is I'm going to take this out of the frame. I'm going to scan it. I'm going to send the file, upload the file onto their site. And as I understand, it's going to take about 7 to 10 days for this whole process to take place. Okay. Oh boy. Ooh. I'm pretty nervous here. Okay, let's take the glass out first. Okay. So we're locked out here, so you can see it's ooh. You can see that print sticking to the glass. Half of me is almost tempted to just scan it in the glass. Because one thing I'm noticing here is as I'm pulling down, you see that part of the image is actually stuck to the glass itself. So I think that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to scan this right in. Actually, I'll clean the glass off here a bit. I'm going to scan this into. I'm going to put this into the scanner and let that run its course there and see if that does the trick there. Because if I pull this out right here, my concern with this is there's no image behind here. And while I'm very optimistic about the service here, if there's nothing there, there's nothing there. So that is the game plan. I'm going to clean this, I'm going to scan it, I'm going to put it up in there. And so these guys say they can restore any photo to the original condition or colorize like new, ideal for black and white. So this is going to be, I cannot wait to see how this turns out. So I'm going to shut off the cameras right now. I'm going to go downstairs. I'm going to clean the glass. I'm going to scan this. I'm going to upload it into their website. And then my friend will turn back on the cameras and we will see together just how this photo restoration project turned out. Alrighty. So at this stage, now I've already scanned my photo. So I have the photo in a digital form. And so now I'm on the Photo Repair Pro site here, and I'm going to bring you along for the ride as well. Now we're going to hit on click or start my order. I'm going to find my photo and boom, and let that do its thing. Oh, that was quick. Next. All right, here we go. That's the image. Looking pretty snazzy. I'm going to make sure restore to color. Restore to original condition. Thank you. I'm going to put a reference photo into here. Grab my shot, and there we go. Awesome. Okay, things are looking pretty snazzy. Let's go hit the next button here. And boom. All right, got a $5 coupon. Heck yeah, I'll take that. And this, my friends, is where I'm going to enter my billing information here, and we'll pick this video back up once the print comes in. All right, we are back. And speaking of what's back is the print. Holy smokes. Now, early on in this video, I told you guys I had no experience with photo restoration. And so going through this process, I didn't know what to expect. You know, as you saw the photo, and it's funny, at the end of the last segment there, I took a screwdriver and hit the glass, and I was cautious. You made a joke about possibly breaking the glass. Well, you know what? In case you don't see it, which, oh yeah, you do. Right there, boom. Oh wait, boom. I ended up breaking it later that day. And by doing so, because what I ended up having to do was I actually scanned it right in this glass. So it's funny, I created more of a problem for these guys to fix in part of that photo restoration project, because as I tried taking it further out of the glass, but when there's just so much of the picture that is stuck to the glass and away from the photo itself, and so there'd be too many voids of any data in the print. So I'd clean this up. I scanned it in there, and wow. Okay, scanned it in there, uploaded it on their site, and then part of the waiting process. And it was like a week. Actually, I was traveling, so it was a week and a half that it came in. It was blazing fast. Now, I went out when the print came in. I went out and picked up a new piece of glass, and then while I was down there, the frame store put this in plastic for me, so I'm not gonna take it out of there because it's ready to send off to my mom. And anyways, you guys will be able to see. But the point being, let's get rid of that reflection. Look at that. I'm gonna keep it pointed down so you can get a good sense of how amazing that looks. This turned out really, really amazing. There's no evidence of the crack from the fresh glass, or the fresh crack that I put into this thing. Here, let's see if I can put them all side by side. Okay, let's see if we can manage to pull this off here. All this kind of damage up here from where this was actually pulled out. All this water damage, this very clear water damage down here on the bottom, right through here. All of this here is all cleaned up. I mean, it looks really, really good. Again, I didn't know what to expect with this, but I can tell you, boy, the only downside with this, I wish I had more photos that need restoration, because this really turned out fantastic. Not to sound cliche, but I could really understand, Costco. Costco was using these guys for 10 years before Costco pulled their photo platform or program or whatever the hell you want to call it. I can see why they use these guys. These guys really did great job. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to, where the hell's my phone? I'm going to take another overhead shot here, so I can put onto the screen here so you guys can get a sense of, let me get my reflection out of there. Ah, damn it. Boom. Okay, you can see my reflection in the bottom of this here, but you can really get a good appreciation for just how well this turned out. I'm going to put a link down below to the website, Photo Repair Pro. Again, $34.99 is the flat rate that they charge for this. Man, I got to tell you, again, I've said it like it's broken record syndrome. I'm very, very impressed with what these guys have done here. I would have, look, if I'm being a blunt instrument here, there are parts of this here where it just looks horrible, and there's just so much discoloration. And let's face it, this is an old photo. It's there's more sentimental value with this photo, and so, man, again, it's funny. I've gone back and forth on this a few times, but even just holding it here again, I'm floored with how well this turned out. Anyways, I'm going to put a link down below. You guys check out the service. Highly recommend. If you have some photos sitting around that of your parents, or some film from back in the day, photos that you would like to get kind of restored to looking pretty awesome to put behind a nice new frame, highly recommend these guys. Well, anyways, that is it. So it's that time of the video where, hey, I'm going to ask you to do all that YouTube stuff. Again, we put these videos together to help you guys make informed decisions on products, services that you may want to consider. Now, of course, if we are successful and you found some value with this video, do me a favor, hit that like button. Matter of fact, crush it. And if you're currently not subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? Would love to have you part of the family. And last but not least, hit that bell so therefore every single time that we come out with a video like this, friend, you are notified. That said, well, I'm going to be jumping out of my studio here, so you get out there, stay healthy, and find your adventure. Or it's funny, you do enough of these videos, I have two different endings that I use for both of my companies. So my four-wheel drive talk site is Find Your Adventure. Well, photography talk is, well, get out there and take your best shot.